Welcome everyone to Clear Blocks to Raising Vibration and Frequency. My name is Auchettl, and over the course of the next hour, we're going to be doing a number of processes with you here today. And the intent today is really to do three key things. So we've got a fair bit to go and get done today. I'd love everyone to know the difference between frequency and vibration. The difference between frequency and vibration. Most people just assume they are the same things. And even people I've worked with for a while sometimes can go, well, which one's which again? And we're going to go through and we're going to make sure we know what they are. The second thing I want to do is identify and clear blocks to frequency and vibration. So I want to actually clear some blocks here with you today. We're going to clear 4 key blocks, 2 around frequency, 2 around vibration. And I'm also going to talk about the benefits of life vision mentoring, because we have life vision mentoring actually starts in January, which is next month now, because we're actually in December here in Australia already. So my goodness, it's coming along. Just quickly, if you don't know who I am, I'm often referred to as the blockbuster because I specialize in clearing sabotage clearing programs. And we do that online through a technique that looks like I'm clicking my fingers, but in effect, it's about shifting energy, shifting vortexes within the body. That's how I actually operate. You'll get an example of that looks like today. I'm the creator of Conversations to Game. I've done a whole lot of books. We've got a book coming out called One Vision. I'm really excited about. It comes out in the next month or so, about the story about how I began this whole journey. Co-produced, starred in the Vision 2020 movie that came out just recently. Also the principal of the Vision School. So you can see from that, I'm kept really busy. The key thing I want to talk about today is what is the glass ceiling? And I think this is a really key process here for us today. You know, what is this glass ceiling that can often stop us? And so what I love to do is I want to make today as interactive as we can. And I just love you to put into the chat box what you think the glass ceiling is. You know, for you in particular, let's just not make it a generic thing, but is there a glass ceiling? Is there a limit that you stop yourself as to how far that you can go? It'd be really interesting. And Paul, I'm actually going to get you on if you want to unmute yourself, because I want to talk about this really clearly before we start, this glass ceiling. So, Paul, can you relate to that in your life, the idea of a glass ceiling?
Yes, I can. There's probably certain limitations I have in my belief system.
Yeah.
In a certain comfort zone, I get to the edge of that, I get beyond it, things get a little bit shaky. I probably tend to, some things I'm quite very adventurous on, other areas that are a bit, might be a bit shaky for me, I probably tend to hold back a bit. Just doubt as to my own ability in certain areas that maybe I don't have enough education or whatever.
Sure. So all these sorts of things can actually stop us. And some of them, you know, things like, you know, and they're generally sabotages that we do. And they're generally around fear, shame, anger, stress, jealousy, depression, blame, judgment, especially self-blame, self-judgment, you know, worry, unworthiness, despair, powerlessness, the whole bunch of things that stop us. And the key thing to me is to be able to break through the glass ceiling process. And, you know, the breakthrough to me is looking at things like love, joy, peace, miracles. You know, actually have miracles happening in your life. You know, freedom and fun and all those other ones that are there. And so when we can do that, our life starts to change. And in order to do that, I want to look at vibration and I'm going to look at frequency. I want to look at the two completely separately. Because what I found in my own life is when I can separate the two and work on one and then work on the other one as two distinct things, that's when my life really changed. Now, vibration is what I refer to as our connection to the inner world. All right. And that inner world is sometimes referred to as a level of consciousness or a connection to spirit. And traditionally, by the David Hawkins space, that was sort of calibrated from 0 to 1,000. And that was there. So I didn't have to reinvent that. That was already there. And what was interesting about that is they had different levels. So the first level, where I guess a lot of people have been, is in that area of shame, guilt and grief and fear and all those. And a lot of people in the world still operate on that. The next level that we get to is this expanded consciousness, you know, and they say, well, if we get even if we get the planet to 200, we'd be doing really well. But I would suggest most people on this call are probably going to operate somewhere between 400 and 600. And 4 or 5 years ago, I thought that was about the maximum that we can get to, is that 4 or 5 or 600 sort of mark. What I found, though, however, is that we can actually go further. That we can go 700, 800, 900, and even above 1,000. Now, think about your vibration. Your vibration is your connection to spirit. If you could double what you've got, if you could get your vibration over 1,000, what difference would that make in your life? Really interesting one. So again, just in the chat room, what difference would that make in your life if you could get your vibration over 1,000? A really interesting one. All right. And Cindy, I want to bring you on actually, because you've actually done this. Cindy's done the program with me. And Cindy, how'd you go? Like, what have you noticed is the difference when we can shift vibration, our internal stuff, over 1,000?
Well, you can be going through tremendous stress and you're able to roll it off you. Yeah. You learn techniques to do that, and to really stay in the vortex and keep your vibration up. And so it's kind of miraculous, because I lived through this year with it, and I did so many things, and you guys all know how stressful this year was. So incredible.
And it's sort of true, isn't it? Because what happens is that it doesn't say that stuff doesn't happen. I mean, stuff is always going to happen in our lives, you know. The difference to me is how we respond to that. And it doesn't seem to have the same impact that it used to have once upon a time. You know, it doesn't throw me out as much. And what I've noticed is when people have sort of over 1,000, I can generally pick them up now. They're a much softer being, you know, the sorts of beings that you want to hang around, because there's just something about them that you're not too sure about. And there's a more of a gentle presence that comes with them. And my favorite story is I had one client who was, and I've said this to the person, I was literally scared to have this person as a client. And she was quite ferocious. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, if I say one thing wrong, she's going to like pounce on me. And she's the most gentle person now, and she's absolutely flourished in her work. So, you know, just recognize those possibilities are there. Clara, did you want to make a comment on that? You had your hand up, that's all. You just need to unmute yourself. Got to find the unmute button.
No, I didn't realize I had the unmute on.
That's okay.
I didn't even realize I had my hand up. Sorry.
That's all right. Can you relate to all that for yourself, just out of interest?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that you get less entangled with people and their drama, and you stay much more in your own zone. I find that I'm very clear about my boundaries and who I'm letting in.
Yeah. Not
that I'm not letting people in, that sounds awful, but it's just I'm very clear on my boundaries now.
Yeah.
So I have zero tolerance anymore for drama, and it's not that I don't care about people, but you can't get sucked into that.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And what actually happens here is I actually had to create a whole process after 1,000 that actually takes people ultimately up to infinity, you know, like this potential possibilities. So it's really interesting, you know, what's there. Just while you're there, Clara, I want you to say, I want to actually start clearing this, and I thought we might start with you, if that's all right.
Oh, fine. I love it.
and so this is like, particularly for people who feel like they've reached the limit of their potential. This is as far as I can go, you know, and I know I can go further, but this seems to be as far as I can go. And the first block I want to clear for everyone is to recognize that you actually have unlimited potential. So Clara, can you say for me, I have unlimited potential?
Ooh. I have unlimited potential.
Yeah, it's a big statement, isn't it? So,
It is a big statement. It really is.
and so what would happen in your life if you could actually get that unlimited potential?
Wow. I think things would skyrocket.
Yeah.
They're starting to
That's true. It's
skyrocket
actually true.
already.
Things would skyrocket. That is actually a true process. Okay.
Yeah.
Do anyone else want to comment? Maybe just raise your hand or wave to me if you can. That wants to comment on that. This idea of having unlimited potential. How cool would that be in your life? Beth, we'll put you on. You can sort of really relate to that one. I can see that you're reaching towards that, aren't you?
Yeah, you got me a little scared, Barry.
Oh, to Beth, I'm going to have, not Beth. I'll come back to you in a moment. Beth, you get to have a breather. To Beth?
Yeah, it would be like it, but to actually embody it and feel it would be just and do it would be amazing. And you can feel it within you, different changes happening. I can see it happening in my own life, but to have that feeling inside of you and know it on that level would be amazing. Yep. And you just wouldn't stop. You would keep expanding, which would be amazing.
So what I'd like to do now is to actually clear this for everyone, if that's all right. That we can always expand what our potential is, regardless of where you're at. And so what I want you to do is just become aware if you notice a change within yourself. And if you notice a change, again, put it in the chat room so that everyone gets to see this. All right. So we're going to actually clear this one. This is quite actually a really big one because there's some really high points up in here as well. So I'm just going to clear this for the group. Okay. So what happens when I clear this? I actually clear it for the two people we've spoken about. I've cleared it for everyone live and for anyone who listens to the replay at any stage in the future. So this is a really big statement that we've sort of jumped straight into. So to Beth, I'll get you to say again for me, please, that statement, I have unlimited potential.
I have unlimited potential.
How does that feel?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, I can hear the difference. You're quite excited, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and that's the difference. And if anyone else in the, on live on the call wants to put something in the chat room about how that feels when they say it to themselves, say it out loud to yourself and see what it feels like. Clara, I'll get you to say it as well, please.
I have unlimited potential.
How does that feel saying that now?
I think I should say it again, actually.
Yeah, I think you should too. I think part of it seems a bit shocked that you could actually say it. So.
Yeah, I have unlimited potential.
Yeah.
I have unlimited potential. I can really feel the shift. I was feeling the shift anyway before you started clicking, and I was feeling it all up through the center channel from my solar my solar chakra right up through my throat. And I'm still feeling the shift currently as well. Does that make sense?
Yep, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. All right, let's go grab the next slide then, and let's see where we go from here, because this is sort of an interesting one. So the next slide we've got, does that come up for people?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's taking itself out. Here we go. So shifting, recognizing that we've got unlimited potential is huge. Now, the second one, of course, is utilizing that potential. Like it's one thing to recognize we've got unlimited potential. The second thing is to utilize it. And for most people, it's I'm too busy to be still. The best way to utilize this is just to be still. Meditate, be quiet, rest, whatever it is. And I love that there's a really good one about a monk who said he was so busy that day he had to meditate 4 times instead of twice. And I just think that's a great statement. The busier we get, it's our daily practices that sometimes can get thrown away. It's, oh, look, I'll do this later, I'm too busy today. And so, Beth, I'm going to get you on for this one. And the statement I'm going to get you on for is, I choose to be more still the busier I get. Can you say
I
that
choose
first?
to be more still the busier I get.
Okay. What do you think of that one?
You nailed me.
That's why I said you're next. All right. So tell us about what happens in your life when you get busy.
That's the way that I feel legit. Like, yeah, that's my defense. I just stay busy rather than face my fears.
Yeah. Yeah. And the best way to face your fears, I believe, is through that stillness. It is, always going to be the best way of doing that. All right.
Yeah.
So, anyone else gets themselves super busy? Let's see if there's anyone else here who's coming up.
Barry?
Eli, can we bring you on, please?
Hello.
How are you? You get yourself busy as well, do you?
I think it's more like when I get busy, I don't necessarily stay calm when I get to that place.
Yep.
So I probably have an aversion to getting busy for that reason.
That's not a bad thing to do. Can you just say that statement for me, please? I choose to be more still the busier I get.
I choose to be more still the busier I get.
Okay, yeah, it's a really interesting one. It's actually the stress for you is actually on the more still.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, that's quite a challenge. So we're going to put everyone through today as well, isn't it? Yeah, the idea of being more still.
Thanks, Barry.
You're welcome. All right. And Andrew, I think you wanted to make a comment before. We'll bring you in there as well.
Sure. Well, you asked what happens when I get too busy and how I felt after you cleared it. When I get too busy, things fall between the cracks and I just, my self-care drops. And I started to feel like after you cleared it, that there was a channel that just felt clear.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's the thing. Some people talk about like a fizzy feeling. It was one of the ones that's come up in the chat room, but you just feel like there's a change and you don't know what. And I will let you know, it hasn't come up yet, but for some people, it can actually feel like it almost feels like you want to keep the old story. You want to hang on to what you know, because all of a sudden life is starting to change a little bit for you. All right. And yet it's the change that we're actually after as well. So I'm going to clear this for everyone. I think this is a really good one to clear. And Eli, can we bring you back on, please?
G'day.
And I'll get you to say that statement again. I choose to be more still the busier I get.
I choose to be more still the busier I get.
Okay. Can you hear the difference there?
Yeah, and I can feel like there was a restriction through the central channel, like through my sternum and down through my solar plexus. And then as I say it now, there's like a timber there. There's a vibration that wasn't there before.
Yep. I will get you to say it one more time because these are really powerful statements. I just want to make sure.
I choose to be more still the more busy I get.
Yeah, great. That more still, it's like, it's almost a cue that when you get busy, it's like, okay, I'm going to be more still now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's really wonderful as well. So Beth, let's come across to you and see how you with that one.
I choose to be more still the busier I get.
Well, wow. How's that feel for you, that one now?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the change for you, do you think?
Well, I've just been listening to you earlier today and I decided I have to buy a meditation app. I have to do this every day. It makes sense. And yeah, I can feel it in my body.
Yeah. And I think those sort of things that you're talking about, yeah, it does make sense in terms of what to do. So I just want to talk for everyone for a moment. Well done, everyone. And I just want to talk about how we can increase. What are some of the ways that we can start now? You don't have to wait for anything to happen. What can you do now? And there are three key aspects I want to give you. One is daily meditation. And I'm not talking about I meditated once 3 weeks ago, so I've meditated. Daily meditation is an important process. The second one I've got there is a term I often use when I'm working with people. It's called detached empathy. And detached empathy for me is about an ability to be able to connect with someone else without taking on their stuff. I've got enough of my own stuff to work out and clear and everything. I don't need to take on every time I connect to someone to take their stuff on as well. So detached empathy, I think, is a great term in the sense that it's something that I created, this word or this phrase, in terms of having empathy for someone to really understand, I can really get where you're coming from, but it's still not my issue. It's, you know, it's still for you to clear. And the third one is, whichever way you do it, is that connection to spirit. And sometimes that is through meditation, but that could be through gardening, it could be through exercise, it could be a whole range of ways as well. Okay, so, you know, I just wanted to sort of give that sort of some clues there for people in terms of how do we get started with our vibration. Now, what happened for me is I'd spent 10 years working on my vibration. So my vibration was really quite high. And yet nothing was sort of happening. I was sort of still fairly broke, in and out of relationships, you know, work wasn't really taking off. And I felt like I was ready to do my life's purpose, but it wasn't really happening. And I was really lucky. I got to go around the world and got to talk to some really top people about vibration and understand that it's now possible to take our vibration to levels we've never seen before. You know, what would happen if your vibration was over 1,000? You know, think about that. At the same time, I wanted my life to be more easier for me. You know, I'm really happy to go and help the world, but I wanted to have a better way of attracting stuff than what I was doing. And so what I did is I separated, it really came up for me one night. I asked and I was told to separate vibration and frequency. And that's been the difference. And so when we look at frequency, frequency is our connection to the outer world. Okay, sometimes referred to as the law of attraction or ability to manifest, whatever it is. Now, what happened in this case, when I looked at frequency, there was no other information out there. I had the David Hawkins scale from 0 to 1,000 to start with. For frequency, there was nothing out there. There was no one else doing just frequency work. It was generally tied up with both. And so I actually created this scale for myself. And I just did a straight percentage from 0 to 100. And what I found is that the average on humanity at the moment was around about 25%. And it hasn't gone up that much since then, by the way. And I was really surprised about that. I thought we'd be using about half of our maybe potential as a minimum. And there are even, I came up with, there are something like 20% who still operate of a level between 0 and 10. And I was like, I'm checking out this out with spirit. I'm saying, like, how come? Like, this just doesn't make sense. And I was told when you take into account military and fundamental religions, where you don't get to make any choices for yourself, you know, all that sort of taken away from you. So when there's no level of autonomy, and I guess even people who have to work and they don't get anywhere, but they're working to survive, and just sort of going through that process. You know, really low levels of frequency stuff. What an interesting one that also came up is because the population was 25% roughly, when people were sort of 30%, around 30%, there was an area, an issue around superiority that come up. And those sort of people who used to manipulate other people. And we can all talk about examples of people trying to manipulate others because they think they're better than everyone else. And it doesn't matter what percentage you are. This is not saying you're better. It's just, these are your frequencies. And that's all that they are. Now, again, these would be for majority of people, I guess, on the planet. For people I generally work with, people generally come in around about 60%, maybe 70, 75, occasionally a little bit higher. Now, 60 to 70%, what has come up for me is this generally relates to what I refer to as spiritual laziness. In other words, you know all the things you should be doing, just not doing them, you know. And then by 70%, you're almost starting to do them. And then once you get above 80, then you're actually making it daily practice. And the interesting thing I found, the same as vibration, I didn't know this was going to happen, but when I got to 100%, I found that there's actually other frequencies above that. So we've got a traditional frequency, then we move into a high conscious frequency, and then we even move into an abstract frequency, which is a third level. And so we can keep those sorts of things going. All right. And we'll do one more. Let's clear a block around this. And the biggest thing around frequency I hear is I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when my work takes off. I'll make money. I have a relationship. I do whatever. There's always a when, ... So just think about yourself. I'll be happy when what comes up. And the statement I've got for us is I'm happy. I am on my soul's path. I am happy. I am on my soul's path. So it's an interesting one, that one. I am happy. I am on my soul's path. Jackie, we're going to grab you for this one. I'll get you to say that for me. I am happy. I am on my soul's path.
I am happy. I am on my soul's path.
Okay. It's actually coming up as a stress, and I was quite surprised. I thought it might have even been holding for you, because part of you is actually on your soul's path, isn't it?
Yes, I'd say. Not 100% though. I'm like on an access road.
Okay, an access road. All right. So what would it feel like for you if you're totally on your soul's path and knew that you're on your soul's path?
I would feel like I was in my power, and I would feel much more in the flow.
Yeah.
You know, I would feel empowered and in the flow, because I know I'm here for service, right? So.
Sure. And I totally agree with that. No, and actually, in fact, I want to just clarify that just a little bit, because I've done over 1,000 people where I do their soul's purpose, where I look at their soul's purpose from a spiritual level, a mental level, and a practical level.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to tell you that every case that I've done, there are two components of why we're here. One is to be of service to the other, to everyone. The other one is our own soul development.
Right.
And,
Yep.
and we can't forget both, one or the other. We're not here just for ourselves, and we're not here just to be of service to others, because that becomes a bit of a victim process.
Right. Well, the empowerment part, I think, is the part that the other half that you mentioned, the soul development part. I would feel empowered if I were in my purpose or on purpose, and it would fill my soul.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a balloon when you start blowing up a balloon.
Yep. No, I get that, and we just keep expanding. Well done. We're going to clear that in a moment. Jan, I want to come across to you if we can. We'll just get you to unmute yourself, if that's all right.
Hi.
I know you're going to have a drink there, so I've just stopped you having a drink for a moment. Can you say for me, I am happy, I am on my soul's purpose?
I am happy. I am on my soul's purpose.
Okay, so that's actually coming up as a stress for you as well. And again, you're someone who I think is pretty close to being on their soul's purpose. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So what this is going to do is even if there seems to be a lot of people here who seem to be fairly clear about your soul's purpose, what I want to do here is to really get that clearer so that you can be really down that path and know you're on that path. That'd be a really nice one to be in. So let's just clear this for everyone. Okay. And Jan, I could just say again, please, I am happy, I am on my soul's path.
I am happy. I am on my soul's path.
Yeah, it just feels like it's just put you back on track a little bit, like you're sort of.
Yeah. I feel that. I felt it. I could feel the shift when I said it the second time.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it, that shift? All right.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackie, I'll get you on that one as well.
I am happy. I am on my soul's path.
Of course you are. Okay, how's that feel?
It feels like I just had a chiropractic adjustment.
Well, pretty well much that's what it is, actually. I have some people can actually feel, like I can actually physically feel these adjustments like a chiropractic. That's a great analogy that you're using there as well. So well done.
Thank you.
Lisa, can I bring you on for a second? Lisa's also done the Life Vision mentoring. And Lisa, how do you feel with that statement? I'm happy on my, I am on my soul's path.
No words. Sorry, English isn't my first language.
So you've actually, like in the last 12 months, you've really found where you're heading in a way, haven't you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I have, Barry. And I was just thinking how much I enjoy, like, I love these. Okay, it's the third, losing count how many times, but I am really so enjoying and appreciating. So I've got a Beth and listening to other people and hearing the clearings. It's just so beautiful, and I'm just so honored to actually watch and participate.
All right, thank you. Let's go to the last one. There's one more I still want to look at today. And again, I agree with you. I think clearing these things is really important, that we actually get to do that today. So the last one we're going to look at is, and again, the other thing that seems to stop people from frequency is money. And I often say to people, I actually have a program in the Vision School called 3 Blocks to Making Money. And when people are stuck, I say, well, go and do that course. Go and change the process. Okay. I'll just get people to mute themselves if you're not speaking, just to get those background noises clear. That's all. So I need to make more money to be successful is the standard one that seems to come up and stops us from moving forward. So the statement I'm going to give you to finish these statements here today is, I am already successful and more money is coming. That's a pretty cool statement. I am already successful and more money is coming. And so Maria, can we jump you on for this one?
Sure.
Can you just say that statement for me, please? I am already successful and more money is coming.
I am already successful and more money is coming in.
Okay. How's that feel saying that?
I feel like I'm a little bit faking it.
Yeah, I think you are too. Okay, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of this fake it until you believe it stuff, because the back of your mind has already gone, well, no, I'm not. You know, like that's already happening. And so, you know, the idea of clearing is that we actually get to believe it, and then you can keep saying it. And in actual fact, by the way, when you say that, you actually do feel that you're already successful.
I do. And it's true that money is already coming in.
It is true, but that's the one you're having trouble with. In actual fact, you didn't even say the statement the way that I asked you to say it, which is always a sign that people are not seeing. So we'll get you to say it one more time. I am already successful and more money is coming.
I am already successful and more money is coming.
Yeah, there's still a stress around that. So we're going to clear that one for you as well. Jason, do you want to have a look at that one as well, just to round that one off for everyone?
Sorry, that was me?
Yes, please. Can you just say the statement, I'm already successful and more money is coming?
I'm already successful and more money is coming.
Okay. Now, your scenario is a little bit different to Marie's. What's happened for yours is there's a part of you that feels like you've either got to be successful or have money coming in. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, for some reason they are different.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I never considered that. I always assumed success meant money, but yeah, that's
so it could be success in terms of making a difference on the world and supporting the world and all this. And then there's money. It's like one or the other. And so I'm here to tell you, you can have both.
That's awesome. I'll take it.
Okay, yeah. And there's for anyone else who's in that same scenario who might have that same sort of process. So let's clear this for everyone. Again, you know, both ways, doesn't matter what's actually happening for you. Okay, that's a big one there for you. This is actually more than anything else. This is rooted so much into childhood and your upbringing of being told what is success, being told what's money, all that sort of stuff. All right. So, Jason, I'll come back to you first and we'll get you to say that statement again. I'm already successful and more money is coming.
I'm already successful and more money is coming.
Okay, awesome. How's that feel now?
It feels clear. And as you're doing the clearing, I could feel the vibration and just energy shifting around me. So it's much more powerful now. It feels like there's power and authority behind it.
Great.
So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. All right. And Maria, I think, was the other one who had that one as well. Can you want to have that one for us again, please?
I'm already successful and more money is coming.
Yay. There's a little bit of the old story that you want to throw in there, but it is actually holding. All right. So I can clear the energy. I can't clear you wanting to keep your old story. Do you understand the difference? Not really.
Right, like that there's a part of me that's still attached to the old story.
Yeah, we've cleared the energy side of it. The energy stuff has been cleared, but there's a part of you that wants to hang on to, oh, this is how it's always been.
Right, for a long time. So,
So when we've had a whole lifetime, it's really hard to let it go in 5 seconds, you know, like, can this happen that quick? And I'm here to tell you it can. You can clear it this quickly these days because you've already done all this work on yourself. So it is easy to start clearing the stuff. And again, just take your time, go over the replay, may even clear it again. That can always help too, just to help sort of solidify that for yourself. And I'll make sure everyone gets a copy of the replay here today as well.
So you're saying it's possible still with like this kind of clearing to have it help you let go of the old story too?
Definitely, because once you recognize this, and I've been working with this long enough, when you recognize, when you clear it energetically, the story is just a story. We just become aware of it. We say, that's just an old story. I'm actually creating something new for myself. And that's the exciting thing about it all. All right, well done. Let's have a look now at, and I will just mute people here before we do that. And then we'll go back to where we were. And I want to look at a couple of ways to increase frequency. And this is really can shift things straight away. And there's nothing spectacular, particularly about the first one. You would have heard it 1,000 times, but I really want you to get used to what this is about. And the first way to increase frequency is through gratitude. It is the #1 way. Now, it's really hard to be negative and grateful for something at the same time. It's just really difficult. And so look for things every day that you're grateful for. Yeah, and what that does is start to expand things that you can be grateful for. The next one that I believe is really important, it's a huge part of the Life Vision mentoring process, is emotional stability. You know, the idea of our emotions can be up and down and all over the place and what's going on. And I actually teach you a process where we move up the emotional scale, and I use the Abraham Hicks, you know, scale of 22 to 1, you know, from grief right through to joy, and getting people to be able to move themselves where they are from the base of where they are to #1, literally within minutes, you know, and they say that this takes, you know, days traditionally. So we've got a process that we've created where you can shift the emotional stability literally in minutes and we keep moving up really quickly. And the third one that I want to talk about is simply helping others succeed. If you're wondering why you're not being successful, go and help someone else to be successful. You know, the purpose of my program is to create as many visionaries out there in the world as I can to bring their own version of love out in the world. That's what the purpose of the Life Vision mentoring program is really about. And the purpose of the Vision School is the same, is to create visionaries. And I totally believe that many of the students I still have who've stayed in my advanced class will well supersede where I'm at. All right. And that I'm really excited by that, because if I could have 10 people who succeed more than I have, then I've had a 10-fold impact in the world than what I could do myself. So when we start to recognize it's not necessarily about us doing it, but it's about how we can help others succeed. And that's really the key to it. And then it seems to come back anyway. It just seems to work that way. We talked about old story a moment ago, and I just want to mention that I did some testing around this, and I recognize that the old stories only accounts about 10% of our realized potential. And that what we're trying to do in clearing these blocks is to tap into the unrealized potential. And I keep talking about this Life Vision Mentoring Program. I just want to spend a few minutes explaining what that is, and then I want to sort of open it up to any questions today around anything that we've covered here today. All right. So the Life Vision Mentoring Program, it was a 6-month program, and because of the speed of humanity at the moment, we're dropping the 9th one down from 6 months to 4 months. And in each week, we do something. We either do a group clearing like we've done today. You get an individual session with one of my certified life coaches. There's a mastermind support class where we actually support each other. We generally do some clearing around that in the first few months as well. And then you also get a buddy, a support person to keep you accountable. So that, you know, when you say you're going to do something, you got someone to check up on you to see, have you actually done that? And then there's bonus sessions, there's extra content that comes into there, but that's the basis of what it is. So every week there's an hour of committing to really stepping up into who you are. All right. And the key one that I found, and Arlene, when she did this course, she really pointed out, she said, Barry, I really loved your course. I got a lot of benefits out of it, etc. But the key to it for her was support from a group of like-minded souls. That she had other people around her, that no one's going to come into this course, by the way, with less than around about 500 vibration. So you can imagine when you've got a whole group of people coming in together at a minimum of 500 to start with, how powerful that is. This is not a beginner's course. This is actually an advanced course in itself. We guarantee you that we are going to get your vibration frequency up to 1,000 for the vibration, over 100% for frequency. And that's a huge guarantee. If not, we're just going to keep working with you. And traditionally, we say that will happen in 6 months. It seems to be happening now with 4 months. And the interesting thing that's been happening is that now I've done this 8 times already, and we've had 100% success rate anyway. That's why we can just do really comfortably doing this guarantee, because we sort of make sure that we get the right people in to start with anyway, so that we've actually got a really amazing group. The question that keeps coming up is, what would happen to your life if you could raise your vibration and frequency? And so I'm offering everyone here, if you go to www.lifevisionmentoring.com, down below you can book in for a free 15-minute session if you haven't done so. A couple of people here have done that already, but there's a free 15-minute session, a little focus session on working out, first of all, what your vibration and frequency is, and seeing if is this a fit for you. The class starts on Tuesday, the 12th of January, which is 8:30 a.m., which is the Monday, will be Monday afternoon in America. And it will go for 4 months. And that's actually part of what I refer to as life vision mentoring. And what happens there, by the way, is that people will go, and we've had about 90% of people who will say, I don't want to leave. And it happened after my second group. The first group was like family and friends. I got on to do the course. The next group came on, they did the course, and they said, Barry, we're not leaving. And I said, not very good marketing ploy. I said, you have to, off you go. You know, like, go and you've already succeeded. Well done, off you go. And everyone said, no, look, we're not leaving. And so I said, look, I could do an advanced class if you want to. And everyone booked in. And we've had about 90% success rate of people who choose, for whatever reason, to stay on for 6, 12, 2, 3, 4 years now. And what's happening is they're shifting to levels far in excess of even what we're talking about today. And sort of connecting together and doing that. And so if this is something that interests you, all the details are at the lifevisionmentoring.com address, so just Life Vision Mentoring. If you can't remember that, if you just go to barryau.com, AU for Australia, AU for Auchettl, then you'll get all the information there as well. All right. And look, I'm really excited about what we're doing this time. We're containing it to 4 months to make it more accessible for people. And we've even decreased the price to make it more accessible for people as well. All right. Are there any questions that people would like to ask me about anything that's going on? If you just want to either raise your hand, ask a question in the chat room, I'm really happy now to sort of clear anything else you want to clear around vibration frequency so that you become really clear on what that actually is for you. And just while you're doing that, Caroline, can we bring you on for a moment, please? Caroline's one of our Life Vision mentors, as Cindy is as well. We heard from Cindy before. Caroline, what do you see as the benefit of doing the Life Vision mentoring for you personally?
Oh, well, gosh. My health was in a state of complete collapse after a post-concussion syndrome had set in for me. And now I'm bright, intelligent, making plans, really enjoying life, playing with friends and family. Yeah, my whole world's expanded, and I love embracing the skills. As you know, Barry, I was trained in the same methods that you have by yourself and some other additional ones. And I really enjoy sharing those with people and helping them move through their own blocks to resilience and well-being.
Yep. Now, some of these people who I refer to as Life Vision mentors, these are some of the people that I will go to when I need help, you know, because we all need support. And so, you know, I simply say, look, you know, these people are just as good. I will go to them just as much as people coming to me, etc., and that sort of stuff. So I'm just wondering if anyone's got any questions about today, about the program in particular, but there might be any questions that people might. Eli, did you have a question? You're sort of half waving. I'll bring it back on anyway, just to...
G'day. Yes, sorry, I was just scanning something whilst we're talking.
That's all right. How was the class today? What did you learn today about it for you?
Fantastic. Yeah, it's just kind of regrounded me into this. I mean, I've had a bit of a wild couple of days and I've been getting the rise when I need it, but there's definitely some stuff that I've missed. So thanks so much. Okay. Yep. And that one about being still, I think is, you know, it's a really good one for me because I've got a huge month coming up this month. So I'm going to meditate at least twice a day rather than just once a day for me, you know. Yeah, definitely the meditation. I missed it moving around a bit and got a bit overwhelmed. So yeah. Okay, great. Anyone else got any questions, any comments I'd like to make? Cindy, did you want to make any other comments about as a Life Vision mentor yourself?
Oh, just how amazing it's been, and the people that you meet, Caroline and Lisa and everybody. I mean, just an incredible group of people from all over the world is amazing in itself. And then being able to go through life with in a different perspective is pretty incredible. So that's what I'd love to say. And I see there's a couple more questions in the chat here, Barry, from Donna and Rihanna.
Sure. Do you want to read them for me, please?
Sure. Donna says, I came in late, so perhaps you've covered this in the beginning. How do you define the difference between vibration and frequency?
Okay. I'm actually going to go over that again because I think it's this important, right? Now that we've looked at a fair bit, and you can go back over the replay and have a look at it. But primarily, if you think about vibration as the inner world of what's going on internally, and I often refer to that for me as my connection to spirit. You know, what's going on? Am I centered? Am I within myself? Am I grounded? All those sorts of things. Frequency is about what's going on in my outer world. So it's an external process. my relationship to money, my relationship to my work, my relationship to people, my relationship to my own intimate relationships. All those sorts of things are related to me as frequency. All right, it's a great question. And look, you know, the clearer we can get ourselves on that and recognize the difference, then you can change and actually look at, okay, for most people, the reality is most people are going to, their vibrations are generally going to be higher than the frequency. And so what this does is give you a chance to focus on the frequency, and we want both of them to be rising together. All right, great. Cindy, what was the other question?
The other question was from Rihanna, and she said, what about distraction? Such a good question. Seems it's been such a big issue these days. It is for me.
Okay, Rihanna, let's bring you on for that one. I think that's a great question, distractions.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, so give us an example of distractions in your life.
Well, distraction is that, you know, I have a lot of self-awareness. So it's knowing what wants to, I feel what wants to come through and move. And yet I see that part of me that just does some piddly ass thing, look at social media or something instead. And yet then it creates this energy of just like kind of not disappointment in myself, but just this understanding that that's what I'm doing. And I'm kind of like, it's sabotage. That's what it is.
Yeah, a bit of procrastination there as well, I think, in terms of getting.
Absolutely.
Okay, so look, I've got a slightly different answer to what I would normally say, but I'm sort of focusing on your energy here. So this is really specifically aimed at you. Okay. And I want you to give yourself permission to have some downtime each day.
Yeah, I do.
Guilt-free downtime.
Oh, guilt-free part. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the key, is the guilt-free.
Yeah. So the idea what I often do is I say, look, if I get a certain amount of my work done, then I'm going to allow myself an hour for me to do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Guilt-free. So if I just want to lie down, if I want to watch TV, if I want to do whatever. And I think having some of that downtime isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it gives us processing time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Does that sort of help at all?
It helps some. I mean, I'm actually I'm reasonable around giving myself like downtime and between the things that I do multiple different things. So
sure. What I'm hearing though is that you actually are good at giving yourself downtime. You're not as good giving yourself guilt-free downtime.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there's the should that thing that happens for me.
Yeah. One of the things I teach in the course, you know, how do you know when you're not in the vortex, is we use the word should. You know, I should do this. It's the first indication that we're not aligned.
Right.
You know,
absolutely.
I ought to, and those sorts of things. So that's really good. All right. So great question. And look, and part of raising vibration frequency is you get more in alignment with what you're meant to be doing as well. And part of it, when people are not operating to their full potential, is it feels a bit like we're just getting through life, and we start to lose the enjoyment of life a little bit, because we know how to do this now, and you know, everyone else is going, wow, you're doing amazing stuff. You're going, yeah, but I know I can do a lot better. And so this is about, you know, reaching that full potential for yourself.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. Maria, can I bring you back on, because you raised your hands? I don't know whether it's you wanted to say something, or we'll find out how today was for you, and then we'll wrap up.
Or now I'm a little shy. I'm like, oh, didn't lower my hand soon enough.
It's too late now. So what's coming up for you? Let's just finish up.
Well, I would think I can feel some resistance to doing this work or the course. Like I can feel polarization between, like, a part of me wants to do it, but it feels like a sort of some shame, like egotistical or privileged reasons, like, oh, like, you know, I have this part that's like, oh, this is like privileged white woo-woo bullshit. And like, oh, I could be with a group of people, but I'm not going to feel like they really get me or are like
All those
really engaged in the world. Anyway.
Okay, I want to throw one more in there. I want to throw another one in there as well. I've done all these other courses before and they haven't really lived up to the expectations of going to. And there's all these things thrown in there, right? And these are all the voices that are going on, going, these are the reasons not to do it. All right. And I get that. Like I've done courses myself that, you know, they've waved the magic wand and you're going to get this and you're going to get that. And I do it and they're okay, but they're not like that wow factor. And you know, I've been searching, if you like, for that wow factor. So all I suggest to people is start with a 15-minute call. Start there. All right. And at the end of the day, what I always tell people, this is not like, you know, we've got an offer at the moment. There's a $500 off for people who join and pay up front. We've taken $500 off. It's the course is $3,000. We've taken it down to $2,500 if you paid up front, which is half the cost of what it was the last time we ran it. Right? I really want to make this affordable for people. Now, at the end of the day, this is not like you've got 24 hours to make up your mind. I want you to sit and meditate with it. I want you to have a talk to me. I want you to have a talk to your life coach. I want you to make sure that this is an absolute fit. And I'm doing that for purely selfish reasons as well, because I've had 100% success rate of people in there. You know, as I said, 90% of the people who go in will stay in because they have connected to everyone. And in just picking up your energy field, I don't see anything that's so outlandishly different about where you're coming from. All right. Other than, and it's quite a normal process, those thoughts in your head saying, what if? What if I do this and it doesn't work? I'll look silly. What if I do this and it's not the right people? Where I actually like turning around and go, what if it is? What is it? This is the right thing for you? What if that you've actually landed upon this by accident and got the exact program that you meant to get?
Mm.
And what if this is the right time for you? You know, like that's the exciting thing. Can you feel the excitement when you just think of that? What if, yes, it is possibilities, rather than what if it's not possibilities? Now, do your due diligence, meditate on it still, check it out, come and talk to me, have a look at some of my videos on Facebook, you know, do all that sort of thing. Make sure, you know, is this the person I want to work with for the next few months or for the next few years? The reality is that what happens, even the people haven't stayed, they've learned processes for staying in the vortex. And so I was talking to a friend the other day, they'll become friends. When I was talking to one of them the other day, first thing I say to her is, are you still in the vortex? I just want to make sure. She goes, yes, I still, you know, I haven't lost that. So this is not something that you're going to do for 4 months and then put it on the shelf with everything else. This is almost like a lifelong commitment to meditate every day, a lifelong commitment to be grateful for every day, to have emotional stability throughout your whole life, you know, that changes everything. And so I just want to acknowledge you for at least raising those questions, because they're really, you know, they're the questions that we should be asking. And I think it's healthy to be asking those questions. Just don't get caught in the negative that you never take anything up. Even if the answer is no for this, it's okay. Get it clearly, get it from a positive place. Don't take it from a, oh no, this doesn't feel right. Get it from a positive place, and then you'll know whatever answer you get will be the answer for you. Does that help?
Yeah, and it helps to, yeah, sense into it. It helps that, like, I got to say something more challenging and see how you react. So
pretty well much I don't react too much, as you can imagine. You know,
but just,
like,
or how you would respond that.
yeah. At the end of the day, you know, I'm
okay.
very much about people taking that personal responsibility. Is so important. You know, does this feel right for yourself? So again, I'll ask you that question. What would happen to your life if you could raise your frequency and your vibration to levels that you've never had before? The site you're booking to is www.lifevisionmentoring.com, and the program starts, the next program starts on 12th of January 2021, which is not that far away. And so looking forward to seeing people there. Thank you very much for everyone who's been on the call today. Very brave for those people who've jumped on, many for the first time to get some stuff cleared. I'm happy to hang around in a moment for any questions. The rest of you feel free to email me, send me any questions that you might have. Looking forward to supporting you in the future. Bye, everyone.